Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have another ECM repair, and this time working in a 2004 FICM from a 6.6 liters LLY. This is actually very common onto the Chevy Silverado. This is actually coming from a Chevrolet Kodiak. This is a chassis motor home. So, but it has the Duramax diesel engine. So this is from Dennis Rock from Nevada. This is your FICM. I explained Dennis, and I want also to explain you in the video what is this about. But I also explained him that I was no longer going to do tests on FICMs until I perform the repairs, or at least the normal repairs. I always will, in this case, due to the problem, test with a curve tracer to see if the pre-driver is bad, because I don't really need to run the normal tests or perform any other things to condemn or not that part. In his case, that part was bad and needed to be replaced. So what you will be seeing in the video, it will be the FICM connected to the computer, my computer, and real injectors. These what you see here are the real injectors and regular injectors that this vehicle uses. It's a diesel 6.6 liters. So I'm going to walk you through the information that I gathered for him as well, technical service bulletins, which apply to his full code, which is B0207, full code for injector number 7. And he has also, I said injector number 3, which is very uncommon on those two together. It's usually 2 and 7, but the technical service bulletin pertains to 2 and 7 to replace those connectors itself. And I'm going to show you that in the video as well. I will also show you the wire diagrams and a little bit more information so you get familiar with the system if you have a problem with a module like this one. I do have all parts in stock. If you're here in the channel, also please don't forget to subscribe. That helps my small business a lot. Every time you subscribe, YouTube promotes more and more of my videos, and that's how you find me. It's for free, and that will help me tremendously. So thank you so much if you do so. All right, so let me move you over to the next capture. Here you see I have, that is the computer. I have the FICM is still open with the new capacitors and injector drivers and the injector pre-driver, which is that one in there. Make these short harnesses so I can connect without, much of a wires hanging around everywhere to the FICM injectors. And I have a 2-channel on, I have a 4-channel oscilloscope, but I'm only using 2 channels. Channel A, which is a blue channel, will be connected to injector 7, and then channel B, which is the red channel, you will see that in a second, is connected to the injector 8. So you will be seeing that. And that picoscope is this is a special tool that can read the voltages and makes it in a graph mode. All right, let me move you over to the display so you will see with me the information. So this is the paperwork that I always request the customers to fill on the right side. And he signed it, which is, thank you so much, Dennis, to do that. But he also, since there's a lot of history, I always tell customers, if you need to add a page or write in the page or print or something in the page behind or add, it's okay. I need as much information as you can to describe your problems. All right, so let me just zoom a little bit so you can see that too and read. Again, Dennis Rock from Nevada. It says vehicle is a 2005. The code in the VIN, it tells me as a 2004. And we can see that here, that the 10 digit is a 4, it's not a 5. So the code in it says it's a 2004. So sometimes the motorhomes, they change, depends on the year or month. But it says, well, it's a Duramax 6.6, and the part number is exactly the same what the LLY uses. I was driving on the interstate, and the vehicle lost power, setting an engine code P0207, but it's still running very badly with almost no power. I checked the codes, which indicate that the number 7 injector circuit was open. I tested the injector on number 7 and number 3 as a control, control, and then resistance. And the resistance on both was correct. Also, he didn't have a problem on the 3. I misspoke on that. So he took that as a control to check for good and compared to a bad, let's say. I checked the injector plug on both cylinders and both were showing constant battery voltage with no pulsing. When I turned off the ignition, the voltage of the injector to the injector plug did not turn off. Voltage slowly dropped as normal from capacitors discharging. The engine still runs, but very badly, and sounds like it has an uncontrolled fuel entering the cylinders and no power. The procedural check for the P0207 code is that if the injector resistance is good and the connection to the FICM is good, then the FICM is most likely the cause. And yes, she's right about that. Okay, I want to show you the FICM open. I always do that, and I always request the customer to carefully, and I have shown that in multiple of my videos how to open it carefully. In his case, you can see the FICM is very nice and clean. It doesn't mean it's not, it's definitely bad. And it's not, I mean, not really sad, let's say, you know, because it's repairable, right? So I already repair it. I like to see, when I see a FICM like this, I stop and replace the normal things, do the check on the pre-driver, and if it fails, there's nothing I can do, it has to be replaced. And that was the case. So when you have a shorted injector and it keeps going and it keeps trying and trying, the driver, if it gets shorted as well, it will then damage the pre-driver, which is not meant to be trying and trying and trying. So if you have a problem with an injector, I recommend you to stop the vehicle, do your preliminary test as quick as possible if you want to do so, or just remove the FICM. I honestly will just suggest you, if you have a LLY 6.6 liters, don't even try it. Just stop the truck, get the FICM out, open it, make sure it's not burned, because I can show you what a burned one looks like. So give me a second. All right, guys, this is a little older, but that is pretty much what happens. As you can see, this has you know, the all square capacitors. It's still, you know, it's from LLY. It's just an older model, but you can see what happened when capacitors shorted. This one was a completely exploded board. It was, and that's also why I stopped. Let me just move you here to make sure I follow along the correct sequence on the information. Yeah, let me just put that in the meantime I'm talking. So this is the technical service bulletin where the dealer recommends to replace pigtails on injector 7 and 2. But so what I was going to say is these explosions not really here led me to stop doing the tests before performing the repairs. Why? Because I'm exposing myself to components that are 20 years plus, and they are, you know, very prone to explode. And that is not a small explosion. It will hurt me. So that's why I say, you know what, I'm glad they got, you know, protect me. I always wear, you know, my glasses, which are, you know, safety glasses as well. But still, you know, the other side it can burn my face and, you know, damage my office, my lab. So I said, you know what, I'm going to stop doing that. I'm going to just do my tests, send the pictures to the customer, and then do the tests after the repairs as I'm doing today. And this is, again, I hope that you all understand, I have showed multiple videos in transparency all the time. When a component is good and doesn't need to be repaired, I always tell that to the customer. I also, and I was saying, I will encourage anyone that has a FICM that is 04, 05, if you still got a good FICM, take it out immediately and send it for repairs before it's too late and it's going to be impossible to find one, because these are getting less and less. There is also a lot of scammers on eBay trying to sell you a repaired, refurbished FICM, and all they're doing is trying to connect and make it like look like it's, and they clean it with a sandblast and everything, and all they're doing is stealing your money. So please be careful who you buy that. Make sure if you do so, going to a person that has a good reputation and a lot of sales, and make sure it says return if possible, in warranty. Make sure that you're covered, because they're not they're not cheap. We're talking about $2,800, $3,500, $2,200. I mean, their prices. Don't fall for those that says assist with no warranty. Those are garbage. Don't even buy. If a person cannot, like if he wants to sell at assist, tell him to send you a picture of the FICM open. If it's not a hole through, then you can buy, you can send it. I will repair components. I got everything, microprocessors, everything I can repair, as long as it's not a hole on the board. And if they're not willing to do so, well, you now know that all they're trying to do is to scam you and take your money. All right, so going back into here. So what we have here is a service bulletin, very unique or focused into, again, P0202 and P0207, as you, Dennis, have. And this is what it says: to install the revised 90-degree injector connector with harness support bracket service kit. I do also have a picture of that kit for those that have not seen. This is the kit itself. That's how it will come. This is the original kit. And in the service bulletin, you have the part number. Let me just make sure it is here on the screen, so you can, let me just go scroll down. It tells you, if you look for that service bulletin, it will tell you exactly what to cut, what to remove, and put the brackets, and all that is information in here. So yeah, the part number is 98017958. That's the service kit for injectors 2 and 7. And that is what you need to do. The actual kit, if you need to look closer, that is what it comes in the kit. Pigtail for the injector 7, a pigtail for the injector 2, and 2 brackets so those wires are held in place securely. That's the solution. Why? Because it's very common for those wires to break, short, and then give you issues. So I would recommend you, Dennis, to not even think that your harness is good. Just get this and replace it as well before it can damage your FICM. Again, one thing that I want to express and be very clear is that my warranty does not cover any burn components, any water damage. So if I open, and I always do record a video, and I open it in the video without stops when a warranty comes, and you will be, again, I'm super transparent. If it's my fault, if it's a bad component, don't worry about it, you will be covered. But if I open it up and it's burned, I'm sorry, but burned, it's not because this burned, it's because something shorted out, especially with brand new components, all right? And the same thing goes with water intrusion. Water damage, not covered. Sorry about that. All right, so just the next thing that I want to show you, it was the wire diagram, which I don't know what I did with it, but let me just get it in the screen 1 second. Because I promised I was going to show you the wire diagram, which is pretty simple, you know. This is the wire diagram for the injectors. The computer sends a control signal, which is a 0 to, if I remember, like that's almost 0 to 5 volts. That is just to tell the FICM, okay, I want to actuate injector 1 through 8. But the actual, that is the command. The command is a 0 to 5 volts. So command is very no amperage, no nothing, just that the computer is going to send the command over to the FICM. The FICM itself, this module that we have here on the bench, is the one that has all those big capacitors and big drivers and very robust circuits that will take control of the injectors. And here is what they call charge pumps. So the whatever residual voltage from one injector will be transferred to the next one through the capacitors, and it will make the vehicle keep going. So it's a very, very good system. Very good, because I can say, 20 years or so working with no fail. I will say that this is a very well built control module. Yes, it's H, and that's what you need to send it before it explodes, and I can repair it. When the FICM is normal repairs and the so the pre-driver is not damaged, the price is almost 50%, or it's a little higher than 50%. But if the pre-driver is damaged, it will go to full price. So normal repairs, please contact me if you want to know the prices. I don't put them on the website for obvious reasons. I don't want nobody to copy my prices. If I'm lower than anyone else or higher than anyone else, that's only Mike Salazar Diagnostics. And why? Because I do what I consider the best repairs on these systems, and you are not being fooled that it's not happening. You will see everything clean and done properly in your module. All right, so this is again the upper part. Let me just get a box so you can see where I am. Now you, where is that thing? I'm looking for, this one. Oh no, that's not the one. Something happened. Something changed in here. Is it here? And insert a comment. No. Something changed. I always the changes on without telling you. I'm not sure why it's in here. Give me 1 second, guys, to find that box that I always use. All right, guys, I thought I was becoming crazy, but it's not. It's not me. It's actually the PDF and maybe as permission removed. Let me just show you. This is a wire diagram from Ford. When I'm, here, you see, you cannot see me or the mouse, and that's a PDF. Is whoever designed that is a bad designer. Because how can you have a PDF that you cannot see your mouse into where you are, right? So I usually select this A box in here and then use the circle round where I can just put this in here and then move this around to use it as a mouse, because whoever designed this is a very not a smart person or group, right? But then also on this one, if you see here on the left, that A box is gone. It's not there, so I cannot do anything. I was going to try to use that to show you where I am, but it's impossible. So yeah, so the upper box is the engine control module, and we have the command wires and the engine speed and the communication in between those two, right? So it happens in a COM bus, and I have explained that in multiple videos. Then the center square in the bottom one is the same FICM. They divided that so you can see the injector control coming or command coming from, because I may be saying it wrong. Control from the ECM, command from the FICM. That's how they have it here. So let's use the same terminology. So the control is a computer sends a control signal, a 0 to 5 volts, and then the FICM will command open and close the injectors with the bottom pins, right? So those are thicker wires, heavy gauge, and also it controls the supply voltage, and it has in connectors C1 and pin 3, and then C2. This FICM has two connectors, the ignition voltage or power supply, right? Because those are where the injectors have their power from. And then they have grounds on connector C1 pin 2 and connector C2 114. Those are the powers and grounds. We have ignition on C1. Let's make sure I'm saying that. Yeah, it should be C1 because it's pin 5. It's ignition, and then in C2 pin 119 is also an ignition supply that will charge those capacitors and then give the injector voltage, because when the injector the vehicle is running, that voltage goes up to 50 something volts, and we'll see that in a second too. Sorry guys if it's coming a little longer than expected. All right, so let's do the test. So I'm going to put the picoscope. I'm not sure why it's not showing. Then I have to reselect that. It's not on. All right, so that is again the graph multimeter kind of, so you can see how this will be running. That is the full probe. That is the simulator that I'm using for this one, or I use for always on these systems. And I also have the SUS, which is the Snap-on scanner, which is already connected. I'm trying to save time from the video. No matter what, the computer that we see here is my computer. So that is the bin that we'll be seeing. All I want to show you there is fault codes, and be able to erase in case I get the anti-theft fault codes. Right now we have no fault codes of communication. I just lost communication with the transmission and the glow plug module because obvious reasons. So that's the only reason I have that in there. So let me run the simulation and then see if the injectors and everything works good. So yeah, I've been talking for too long, so I'm gonna have to turn this off and then turn this back on and then run it. All right, so we have the two injector control signals. You can see that and that's why I put this graph, so you will be able to see each signal separated from each other in different RPM. So I can go back into the simulator, which is the full probe, and I can increase the RPMs, and you will see how now more reds and more blues are there, and we can see everything working really good. no issues on the injectors. And we can see I have only one channel show you the voltage. You can see 48.45 volts. So that injector is being definitely open and closed, no doubt about it, because otherwise it will not show that. And I can also, if I need to, or I can change this over to, right now you see how it says A, that is the blue channel, which is injector 7. I'm going to do the same measurement on injector B, that is the red channel, and you can see 50 volts. So we have a, like 2 volts difference from one channel to the other one. That is nothing uncommon. That is whatever injector pump is, that is how it works. But we can see, voltages are pretty good. I'm going to stop the capture because I want to show you the signals, because right now we're really seeing this far away. I can zoom in, and that's the nice thing about the oscilloscope, that we can actually, let me go back out because I'm pressed something I didn't need to. The nice thing about the oscilloscope is that we can zoom in and give more detail to analyze the signal. So that's what a good working injector signal should look. You see how this is again voltage. We can also check current if we want to, but it's not really important in this case. We can see how it's activated, and I don't need to put a line or a cursor to read that, because I put that measurement. So that high part, and I can prove you that it's like that little spike right at the top of that. You see, if I really go into with a cursor, it's actually 48.334. So maybe one spike and one time went a little higher. Or let's actually go into the red channel and do the same thing, and you'll see where it's not that we have a big difference or in it, and it's just maybe a spike or a difference on one injector to the other. That is all taken in consideration. I'm using the red one, so I mean the blue one. So let me use the red cursor to measure, and you see we got 47.85. So like the measurement is so accurate that it's picking any spike that we don't see here, and it's giving that voltage. But in reality, if I go with cursors, we only got 47.85, which is the same thing the blue channel has. And we can see how the signatures of those injector activations are the same, right? That's what very important. So you can see that oscillations, and then the second command and the oscillations, that's what we're looking for. And that is really, really good. So then it's this is a proof that your injector FICM injector control module is now fully operational, and there is nothing wrong with either of the banks, and we have no problem. So I'm going to bring it down to idle one more time. You can see less activations in there. I'm going to turn them off, turn the ignition back on, and then run it again. Well, this is, I forgot always to turn the other part off, and then I get locked. But no, let me just ignition on now here, and I can run it. You see, this is just because I have the BCM on this side. I always forget to do that. But we can see how it's running every single time. No fault codes, and it's working perfectly. Guys, so this is again just a short test after a successful repair on these FICMs. I have 100% success rate, unless it's a hole, but I don't consider that a fail because that's not my fail, right? So I have 100% success rate with the FICM, so you are in the best hands, period. There is no other company that has the transparency and will back you up for all the time, because I always tell my customers, just contact me if a component failed. I will take care of you, because I'm here to help you. I'm a person. I know that sometimes it's hard, but if it's something that is damaged or is burnt, definitely I'm sorry, but not. If burnt components, I will not help you with, because it's burnt. It's nothing I can do. All right? Okay, guys. I'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye-bye.